My name is Jamal Thompson, and I'm about to tell you the story of how my Auntie Cassandra almost got me fired, ruined my reputation at work, exposed half my family's business, and somehow ended up teaching me the most important lesson of my life. But let me back up, because you need to understand the cast of characters in this drama before we get to the part where everything hit the fan. I'm 28 years old, working as a junior marketing analyst at Henderson and Associates, which is one of those corporate firms where everybody talks about synergy and thinks casual Friday means you can wear a polo shirt instead of a full suit. I've been working there for 2 years, keeping my head down, doing my thing, trying to climb that ladder. My cubicle was neat, my reports were always on time, and I had mastered the art of laughing at my boss's terrible jokes just loud enough to seem genuine, but not so loud that my coworkers would know I was faking it. Then there's Auntie Cassandra. Now, if you're black, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Auntie Cassandra is that auntie. She's 53 years old, works at the post office, has opinions about everything, keeps it real to a fault, and has never met a piece of family business she didn't feel obligated to share with the entire neighborhood. She's also the nosiest, most loving, most exhausting woman you'll ever meet. She raised me after my mama passed when I was 12, and I love her more than anything in this world. But Lord have mercy, that woman does not understand boundaries, technology, or the concept of workplace professionalism. My cousin Devin is Auntie Cassandra's son, my age, and we grew up like brothers. Devin's a talented guy, real creative type, but he's been struggling to find his footing. He's had about 17 different jobs in the last 5 years. Everything from selling insurance to trying to start a food truck that sold gourmet mac and cheese with flavors nobody asked for. His problem isn't that he's lazy, it's that he's always chasing the next big thing without finishing the current thing. My girlfriend Simone is a middle school teacher, which means she has the patience of Job and a no-nonsense attitude that keeps me in check. She's beautiful, smart, funny, and she's been dropping hints about marriage for the last 6 months. I love her, but I've been dragging my feet on the proposal because I wanted to get my promotion first. Save up for a proper ring, make sure everything was perfect. She doesn't know about the ring I've been paying off for 4 months, hiding the receipt in my sock drawer like I'm running a covert operation. My boy Kenny is my best friend since 3rd grade, and he works in IT at my company. Kenny's the guy who knows everybody's business because he has access to everyone's emails and search history, though he swears he never looks unless it's an emergency. He's also the only person at work who knows about my family's more colorful moments because he's been around long enough to experience them firsthand. And finally, there's my boss, Mr. Richard Henderson III. Rich white guy, never struggled a day in his life, thinks he's progressive because he put a Black Lives Matter sign in his front yard one time, and has been known to ask me questions about the culture like I'm some kind of ethnic ambassador. He's not a bad guy, just painfully out of touch, and he holds my career trajectory in his soft, moisturized hands. Now that you know the players, let me tell you how everything went wrong on a Tuesday in March. It started when I sent what I thought was a routine work email. We had this big client presentation coming up for a company called Westbridge Financial, and I'd been working on the campaign for weeks. It was my chance to shine, my opportunity to show Mr. Henderson that I deserved that senior analyst position that was opening up. I'd been putting in extra hours, refining the pitch deck, making sure every slide was perfect. That morning, I sent an email to the entire team with the subject line, Westbridge Presentation, Final Review Needed. The email was professional, concise, everything you'd expect. I attached the presentation, listed the key points we needed to discuss, and asked everyone to review it before our meeting on Thursday. I copied Mr. Henderson, the creative director, Linda, my colleague Trevor, who I can't stand but have to pretend to respect, and about 8 other people on the team. I hit send, closed my laptop, and headed to the break room to get some coffee. Kenny was in there microwaving some leftover fried rice that smelled way better than it had any right to smell at 9:30 in the morning. "Big presentation this week, huh?" Kenny said, stirring his rice. "Yeah, man, this could be it for me. Henderson's been talking about who's ready to move up, and I know I've put in the work. Just don't let Trevor take credit for your ideas like he did with the Morrison account." Trevor was this guy who had been at the company for 5 years and had perfected the art of looking busy while doing absolutely nothing. He was also really good at rephrasing other people's ideas in meetings and making them sound like his own original thoughts. I learned to send everything in writing just to have proof of my contributions. I got everything documented this time, I said. He's not slick as he thinks he is. I went back to my desk, feeling good about life. The presentation was solid. Simone and I had a date planned for Friday night where I was thinking about finally proposing, and I'd just gotten paid. Life was good. Then my phone buzzed. It was a text from Kenny. Yo, you might want to check your email. Like right now. My stomach dropped. Nothing good ever follows that sentence. I opened my laptop and refreshed my inbox. That's when I saw it. A new email in the thread I'd started sent about 20 minutes after mine. The sender, Cassandra Mitchell, my auntie, who I had never ever given my work email address to, who shouldn't have even known where I worked beyond the company name. The subject line was still Westbridge presentation, final review needed, but she had hit reply all to everyone. Mr. Henderson, Linda, Trevor, the entire marketing team. And the email said, Baby boy, I got your email address from that Christmas card list you left at the house. Listen, I need to talk to you about Devin. That boy done quit another job and he talking about he want to move to Houston to be a rapper. Houston, like we ain't got enough rappers right here in Atlanta. Your cousin think he Lil Baby or somebody. I told him he need to get a real job like you got, but he say corporate America is for sellouts. I said, boy, you can't sell out if ain't nobody buying. Anyway, I know you busy with your little presentation and your fancy job, but can you talk some sense into him? He respect you. Also, when you coming by for Sunday dinner, I made oxtails last week and saved you some, but you never showed up, so I gave them to Miss Jenkins across the street. And another thing, Simone called me asking about your ring size. I told her you a size 9, but I don't know if she was talking about your finger or your shoe. You better marry that girl before she get tired of waiting. She too pretty to be playing these games with you. Your mama would have loved her. Okay, baby, call me later. Oh, and tell your boss I said hello. Love you. I stared at the screen. My hand started shaking. My vision got blurry. I read it again, hoping I'd somehow misread it, hoping this was a stress-induced hallucination, hoping I'd wake up and discover this whole morning was a nightmare. But no, it was real. My auntie had just replied all to a professional work email and told my entire team that my cousin thinks I'm a sellout, exposed that Simone's been asking about rings, revealed that I've been skipping Sunday dinners, and ended it by telling my boss hello like we're all at a family cookout. My phone started blowing up. Text from Kenny. Brew. Text from Simone. Did your aunt just? Text from Devin. Man, why mama putting my business in the street like that? Text from Auntie Cassandra. Baby, I think I sent that email to the wrong people. Can you unsend it? I put my head down on my desk. From across the office, I heard someone laugh, then another person. Then I heard Trevor's voice, loud enough for everyone to hear. Yo, Jamal, when you gonna stop being a sellout and move to Houston? The entire floor erupted in laughter. I wanted to crawl under my desk and live there forever. I wanted to change my name, move to a different state, start a new life as a farmer or a fisherman or literally anything that didn't involve showing my face at Henderson and Associates ever again. My computer dinged. A new email from Mr. Henderson. Jamal, please see me in my office. I stood up slowly, like a man walking to his execution. Every eye in the office was on me. Linda gave me a sympathetic look. Trevor was grinning like he'd just won the lottery. Kenny caught my eye and mouthed good luck while looking absolutely terrified on my behalf. I knocked on Mr. Henderson's door. Come in, he said. I walked in and closed the door behind me. Mr. Henderson was sitting at his desk, his hands folded in front of him, trying very hard not to smile. He gestured to the chair across from him, and I sat down. Jamal, he said, clearing his throat, I just received an interesting email. Mr. Henderson, I am so sorry. I don't know how my aunt got my work email address, and I certainly didn't intend for her to. He held up his hand. I understand. These things happen. Family can be unpredictable. It won't happen again. I'm going to have a conversation with her about professional boundaries and, Jamal, relax. I'm not firing you. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. However, he continued, and my stomach tightened again, I do think we need to discuss some concerns that have been raised. Concerns? Well, Trevor came to see me this morning. He's been expressing some doubts about your level of commitment to the Westbridge presentation. He feels that perhaps you're distracted by personal matters. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mr. Henderson, I've been working on this presentation for 3 weeks. I've stayed late every night. I've refined every detail. I know, Jamal, and I've seen your work. It's excellent. But Trevor's been with the company longer, and he's suggesting that perhaps he should take the lead on this presentation, just to be safe. To be safe? To ensure that we put our best foot forward with the client. I felt my jaw clench. This was exactly what Kenny had warned me about. Trevor had been waiting for an opportunity to swoop in and take credit, and my aunt's email had handed it to him on a silver platter. Mr. Henderson, with all due respect, this is my project. I know it inside and out. Trevor has barely even looked at the materials. I'm not saying you're off the project, Jamal. I'm saying maybe Trevor should be the one presenting. You can still be there, still contribute, but given this morning's incident, I think it might be wise to let someone else take the lead. Someone else, meaning Trevor. Someone with perhaps fewer distractions. I sat there for a moment, trying to figure out how to respond without losing my job. Can I have until tomorrow to think about this? Of course, but the presentation is Thursday, so we need to make a decision soon. I left his office feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. This was supposed to be my moment, my chance to prove myself, and now it was slipping away because my aunt didn't understand the reply all function. I went back to my desk and sat down. My phone was still blowing up. I ignored it. I opened my laptop and stared at the presentation I'd worked so hard on. Trevor was probably in his cubicle right now, grinning, thinking about how he was going to present my work as his own. Kenny rolled his chair over to my desk. Man, that looked rough. What'd Henderson say? He wants to give the presentation to Trevor. What? That's crazy. This is your project. He says I'm distracted by personal matters. Because of your aunt's email? That's not fair. Fair or not, that's what's happening. Kenny shook his head. You can't let Trevor steal this from you. You've worked too hard. What am I supposed to do? My aunt just made me look completely unprofessional in front of the entire team. So you gotta show them you're more professional than ever. Don't let one mistake define you. One mistake? Kenny, she told my boss, hello. She exposed my whole family dynamic. She basically announced to everyone that my girlfriend's ready to get married and I'm dragging my feet. Okay, yeah, that's bad. But you know what's worse? Letting Trevor win. He had a point. I looked at my phone. 17 unread text messages, most of them from Auntie Cassandra apologizing. One from Simone asking if we could talk later. One from Devin saying, you still a sellout though, lol. I decided to deal with the work situation first and family later. I spent the rest of the day reviewing the presentation materials, making notes, preparing for every possible question the client might ask. If Henderson was going to let Trevor present, I was going to make damn sure Trevor had all the information he needed. Not because I wanted to help him, but because I wasn't going to let the client suffer just because of office politics. At 5 o'clock, I packed up my stuff and headed out. My phone rang as I was walking to my car. It was Auntie Cassandra. Baby boy, I am so sorry, she said as soon as I answered. I didn't know how that email thing worked. I thought I was just sending it to you. Auntie Cass, how did you even get my work email? I told you. It was on that Christmas card list you left here. That list just had names and addresses, not email addresses. Well, I went on that Google and I found your company website and it said your email was jamalthompson@hendersonassociates.com. So I just figured you went on Google, found the company website, found the email format, and decided to email me at work about Devin's career choices. I didn't think about it being a work email. I just wanted to reach you. You couldn't call me like a normal person? Your phone was going straight to voicemail. You never answer when I call during work hours. Because I'm working, Auntie Cass. That's what people do during work hours. There was silence on the other end. Then I heard her sniffle. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to cause you trouble. I worry about you. And Devin. And I wanted to talk to you because you're smart and you got your head on straight and maybe you could talk some sense into your cousin. I didn't think about all those other people seeing it. I sighed. I couldn't stay mad at her. She raised me when she didn't have to. She took me in after Mama died and loved me like I was her own son. She didn't understand professional emails or corporate culture, but she understood love and family, and that's what mattered to her. I know, Auntie. I know you didn't mean it. Did you get in trouble at work? I didn't want to tell her about Trevor and the presentation. She'd just feel worse. It's fine. Everything's fine. You sure? I'm sure. Listen, I gotta go. I'll call you later, okay? Okay, baby. And Jamal? Yeah? Simone's a good woman. Don't make her wait too long. I know, Auntie. Your mama would have loved her. I know that too. I hung up and sat in my car for a minute, trying to figure out my next move. I needed to talk to Simone, deal with Devin, and somehow salvage my career all at once. I drove to Simone's apartment. She opened the door wearing sweatpants and one of my old hoodies, her hair wrapped up in a silk scarf, looking more beautiful than anyone had a right to look in casual clothes. Hey, she said. Rough day? You have no idea. She let me in and we sat on her couch. She'd made sweet tea, which she knew I loved, and she handed me a glass without saying anything. So, she said after a minute, your aunt sent that email. She did, and told your whole office that I've been asking about ring sizes. She did that too, which means everybody at your job now knows I'm ready to get married. Pretty much. Simone took a sip of her tea. How do you feel about that? About my aunt embarrassing me at work? Not great. About me being ready to get married. I set my glass down. This was the conversation I'd been avoiding. Simone, you know I love you. That's not what I asked. I want to marry you. I do. I've been planning. Planning what? I almost told her about the ring, but something stopped me. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was stubbornness. Maybe I just wanted to propose on my own terms, not because my aunt had forced my hand. I've been planning to talk to you about our future, I said, but I wanted to wait until the timing was right. The timing was right a year ago, Jamal. We've been together for 4 years. We practically live together. We both know we want to spend our lives together. So what are you waiting for? I wanted to get my promotion first, make sure I could give you the life you deserve. I don't need you to have a fancy title to marry you. I need you to be ready to commit. I am ready. Are you? Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like you're real good at planning and preparing and making sure everything's perfect, but you're not so good at actually doing the thing. That hit different because she was right. I'd been so focused on making sure everything was perfect that I'd been letting life pass me by. I'm scared, I admitted. Of what? Of messing it up, of not being enough, of becoming just another dude who let a good woman slip away because he was too busy trying to prove himself. Simone moved closer to me. Jamal, you are enough. You've always been enough. But you gotta stop letting fear hold you back. Your aunt's email today? That was embarrassing. Yeah. But you know what it showed me? It showed me that you've got people who love you, who care about you, who want the best for you, even if they don't always express it the right way. She told my boss, hello, Simone. She was being friendly. That's who she is. She exposed my whole family dynamic. Every family has dynamics. Every family has that one relative who says too much. But that's the thing about family. They mess up, they overstep, they embarrass you, but they also love you harder than anyone else will. I leaned back against the couch. My boss is thinking about taking me off the presentation, giving it to Trevor. What? No, that's your project. He says I'm distracted. That's ridiculous. You're the most focused person I know. Tell that to Henderson. Simone was quiet for a minute. Then she said, you remember when we first met? Of course, you were substitute teaching at that after-school program where I was volunteering, and you were so nervous to talk to me that you spilled juice all over yourself in front of 20 middle schoolers. I smiled despite myself. They roasted me for 20 minutes straight, but you laughed with them. You didn't get defensive or embarrassed. You just rolled with it. That's what I loved about you. You could laugh at yourself. You didn't take everything so seriously. This is different. This is my career. Is it? Or is it just one presentation at one job? Jamal, you're talented. You're smart. You work hard. If Henderson can't see that because of one email from your aunt, then maybe Henderson and Associates isn't the place for you. Easy for you to say, you've got tenure. I've got tenure because I stopped waiting for permission to be great. I stopped worrying about what other people thought and started focusing on doing good work. You should try it. We talked for another hour. By the time I left, I felt a little better. Not completely better, but better. Simone had a way of putting things in perspective that I appreciated. The next morning, I got to work early. I wanted to be there before everyone else. Wanted to get my head straight before facing the office. But when I walked in, Trevor was already at his desk, reviewing my presentation materials. "Morning, Jamal," he said. "Way too cheerful for 7 in the morning. I was just going over your notes." "Good stuff, man. Real good stuff." "What are you doing with my presentation?" "Our presentation. Henderson asked me to familiarize myself with it, since I'll be presenting on Thursday." "He didn't say that for sure, didn't he?" Trevor smiled. "Look, man, no hard feelings. I know you worked hard on this. But with everything going on with your family situation, it just makes sense for me to take the lead. You understand." I understood all right. I understood that Trevor was a snake who'd been waiting for this exact opportunity. I understood that he was going to present my work, take credit for my ideas, and probably get the promotion that should have been mine. "The client meeting is at 2, Trevor continued. "Henderson wants us both there, of course. But I'll handle the presentation. You can jump in if I need any backup on the technical details." "Backup on my own presentation." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak, and walked to my desk. Kenny was right behind me. "Please tell me you're not just going to let him do this." "What choice do I have?" "Fight back. Show Henderson that you're the one who should be presenting." "How?" Kenny thought for a moment. "I don't know, but you better figure it out quick, because that meeting's in 7 hours. I spent the morning trying to come up with a plan. I couldn't just burst into Henderson's office and demand to present. That would make me look desperate and unprofessional. But I also couldn't just sit back and watch Trevor take credit for months of my work. At 11, my phone buzzed. Text from Auntie Cassandra. "Baby, I'm outside your office building. Can you come down? I need to talk to you." Oh no, 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 no. The last thing I needed was Auntie Cassandra showing up at my workplace. I texted back, "Auntie, I'm working. Can we talk later? This won't take long. I'm right outside." I looked around the office. Trevor was on a call. Linda was in a meeting. Henderson was at his desk. I could slip out for 5 minutes. I took the elevator down and found Auntie Cassandra standing outside the building, wearing her post office uniform, holding a large plastic container. "Auntie, what are you doing here? I felt so bad about yesterday that I made you some lunch. I know you probably haven't been eating right." She held out the container. Through the clear lid, I could see fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens, and cornbread. "You brought me soul food to my corporate office. You say that like it's a bad thing. This is good food, baby. Made with love." "Auntie, I appreciate it. I really do, but I can't." "Jamal, let me ask you something. Why are you so worried about what these people think?" "Because they're my coworkers, my boss. They control my career. And you control how you show up. You control how you carry yourself. You control whether you let them make you feel small." "It's not that simple." "It's exactly that simple. You're smart, you work hard, you're good at what you do. One email from your crazy aunt don't change that. It's not about the email anymore. It's about respect. It's about showing them I'm professional." Professional. She said the word like it tasted bad. "Baby, let me tell you something. I've been working at the post office for 30 years. You know how many times I had to deal with people who thought I wasn't good enough because I didn't talk right or dress right or act right? Too many to count. But you know what I learned? The people who matter don't care about all that superficial stuff. They care about whether you can do the job. And the people who do care about that superficial stuff, they ain't worth impressing." That's easy to say when you're not the one trying to get promoted. No, it's easy to say when you've lived long enough to know what actually matters. Your mama, God rest her soul, she would be proud of you. Not because you got some fancy job or because you dress nice and talk proper. She'd be proud because you're a good person, because you care about people, because you still come to Sunday dinner even when you're busy. Well, most Sundays. I smiled despite myself. "The oxtails were really good, by the way," she continued. "You missed out." "I know, Auntie. Look, I can't fix what I did yesterday. I can't unsend that email. But I can tell you this. Don't let nobody make you feel like you less than what you are just because your family loves you loudly. Some people got quiet families. We got loud families. That's just how it is." She handed me the container of food. "Now you go back up there and do your job. And if that Trevor person try to take credit for your work, you speak up. Your mama didn't raise no punk and neither did I. Thanks, Auntie. And Jamal? Yeah, that girl upstairs asked me for your ring size for a reason. Don't make her wait too long. How do you know Simone asked about rings? Because she's smart and she knows I know you better than anybody. Now go on and eat that food. You look skinny. I watched her walk back to her car, shaking my head. Auntie Cassandra had a way of making everything seem both more complicated and simpler at the same time. I went back upstairs, put the food in the break room refrigerator, and sat at my desk. Trevor was still on his call, probably trying to memorize my presentation talking points so he could sound smart in front of the client. 1 o'clock came around, then 1:30. At 1:45, everyone started gathering for the client meeting. The conference room was set up with the presentation already loaded on the big screen. Trevor was at the head of the table, looking confident. Mr. Henderson was next to him, looking pleased. Linda and the rest of the team filled in the other seats. I sat near the back, feeling like a spectator at my own show. At 2 o'clock sharp, the clients arrived. 3 people from Westbridge Financial, Patricia Freeman, their CEO, Stephen Park, their CFO, and a younger woman named Michelle Chen, who was their director of marketing. They all looked polished, professional, ready to be impressed. Mr. Henderson did the introductions, making a point to introduce Trevor first as the lead on this project. Trevor stood up and shook everyone's hands, playing the part perfectly. Trevor's been working on this campaign for several weeks, Henderson said, which wasn't exactly a lie, but wasn't exactly the truth either. He's put together a comprehensive marketing strategy that I think you're going to love. Trevor smiled at me. It was the smile of a man who thought he'd already won. The presentation started. Trevor went through the first few slides smoothly, talking about market research and target demographics. He'd clearly studied my notes, but then he got to slide 5, which dealt with the psychological appeal of the brand messaging, and he started to stumble. So we've identified that the core demographic responds to messaging that emphasizes, he paused, squinting at the slide. Trustability. Trustability? Patricia Freeman raised an eyebrow. I think you mean trustworthiness, Stephen Park said. Right. Yes. That's what I meant. Trustworthiness. Which is important because he was floundering. I'd written detailed notes about this section, how the brand needed to establish trust through consistency, reliability, and transparency. But Trevor hadn't really read them. He just skimmed the slides. Linda caught my eye from across the table. She looked concerned. Trevor pushed ahead, but it only got worse. On slide 7, he misread a key statistic, saying that 48% of consumers preferred brand loyalty when the actual number was 84%. On slide 9, he completely misunderstood the social media strategy, suggesting they focus on Facebook when the research clearly showed their target demographic was primarily on Instagram and TikTok. Patricia Freeman was taking notes, but her expression had shifted from interested to skeptical. Stephen Park was checking his phone. Michelle Chen looked confused. Mr. Henderson was sweating. He could see the presentation falling apart in real time. Trevor got to slide 12 and stopped. So, this next part deals with some technical aspects of the digital marketing campaign, and I think my colleague Jamal can speak to this better than I can. Jamal? All eyes turned to me. Trevor was passing me the ball, but only because he was about to drop it. I could have let him crash and burn. I could have given a half-hearted explanation and let the presentation fail, proving that I should have been the one presenting in the first place. But then I thought about what Auntie Cassandra had said, about showing up, about doing the work, about being good at what you do regardless of who's trying to take credit. I stood up and walked to the front of the room. Thank you, Trevor. Let me walk you through this section. I took over the presentation. I didn't just read the slides, I brought them to life. I explained the research behind every decision, answered questions before they were asked, and connected the strategy to measurable outcomes. I talked about how we could increase their brand visibility by 30% in the first quarter, how we could improve customer engagement through targeted content, how we could track success through specific KPIs. The clients leaned forward. Patricia Freeman stopped taking notes and started asking questions. Good questions. Engaged questions. Stephen Park put his phone away. Michelle Chen nodded along, clearly understanding the vision. I finished the presentation 20 minutes later. The room was silent for a moment, and then Patricia Freeman smiled. "That was excellent," she said. "Really excellent. This is exactly the kind of strategic thinking we've been looking for." Stephen Park nodded. "I'm impressed. This is comprehensive work." Michelle Chen looked at Trevor, then at me. "So, who actually put this together?" The room got very quiet. Mr. Henderson shifted in his seat. Trevor opened his mouth, probably about to claim credit again, but Linda beat him to it. "Jamal developed the entire strategy," she said clearly. "Trevor was brought in to assist with the presentation, but this is Jamal's work." Mr. Henderson looked like he wanted to sink into his chair. Trevor's face went red. Patricia Freeman looked at me. "Well, Jamal, this is outstanding work. I think we'd like to move forward with this campaign. On one condition." "What's that?" Mr. Henderson asked, trying to regain control of the room. "I want Jamal as the primary contact on this account. No offense to Trevor, but it's clear who understands this strategy and who doesn't." "Of course," Henderson said quickly. "That's not a problem at all. Jamal will be your main point of contact." The client stood up to leave. Patricia Freeman shook my hand. "Looking forward to working with you." After they left, the conference room cleared out quickly. Everyone had work to get back to, and nobody wanted to be around for the awkward conversation that was clearly coming, except Trevor. He stood there, arms crossed, glaring at me. "You made me look like an idiot," he said. "You made yourself look like an idiot by trying to present work you didn't understand. I studied those notes. You skimmed them. There's a difference." Mr. Henderson cleared his throat. "Trevor, can I see you in my office?" Trevor shot me one more angry look before following Henderson out. Linda stayed behind. "That was impressive," she said. "Thanks. You should have been presenting from the start." "I know. Henderson knows it too. He made a mistake. He won't make it again." She left, and I was alone in the conference room. I sat down and took a deep breath. I'd done it. I'd salvaged the presentation, impressed the client, and proven that I deserved to be there. My phone buzzed. Text from Kenny. Dude, that was amazing." Text from Simone. "I heard from Linda's girlfriend what just happened. I'm so proud of you." Text from Auntie Cassandra. "How'd the big meeting go?" I smiled and texted her back. "It went great, Auntie. Thank you for the food." "I told you. Now when you come in for Sunday dinner, I'm making pot roast. This Sunday, I promise. Bring Simone." "I will, and bring a ring." I laughed out loud. Even through text messages, Auntie Cassandra managed to be herself. The rest of the week was interesting. Mr. Henderson pulled me into his office and, without quite apologizing, made it clear that I would be handling the Westbridge account and that he'd been reviewing my performance for the senior analyst position. Trevor kept his distance, barely speaking to me except when absolutely necessary. Kenny bought me lunch every day, partly to celebrate and partly because he just liked good drama. Thursday night, I went home and pulled out the ring I'd been hiding in my sock drawer. It was a simple platinum band with a single diamond, not huge, but good quality, and something I'd saved up for over 4 months. I'd been waiting for the perfect moment to propose, but Auntie Cassandra's email had made me realize something. There's no such thing as a perfect moment. There's just the moment you're in, and you either take it or you let it pass. Friday night, I picked up Simone for our date. I'd made reservations at her favorite restaurant, a little Ethiopian place on the south side that had the best injera in the city. "You seem happy," she said as we drove. "I am happy. The presentation went well, really well. The clients loved it. Henderson's talking about my promotion, and Trevor's been avoiding me all week." "Good. That's what you deserve." "I've been thinking about what you said, about being ready to commit." "Yeah?" "You were right. I've been so focused on making everything perfect that I've been missing what's right in front of me." Simone smiled. "Is this going where I think it's going? Maybe. Depends on whether you're ready to listen to a long, probably rambling speech about how much I love you." "I've been ready for that speech for a year, Jamal." We got to the restaurant, ordered our food, and I pulled out the ring. Right there at the table, in the middle of the restaurant, with other people eating and talking and living their lives around us. "Simone," I said, "I love you. I've loved you since the day you watched me spill juice on myself in front of 20 middle schoolers, and you didn't laugh. Well, You laughed a little, but you also helped me clean it up. You see the best in me, even when I can't see it in myself. You push me to be better while accepting me exactly as I am. You laugh at my jokes even when they're not funny. You tolerate my family even when they're embarrassing. And you make me want to be the kind of man who deserves you. I know I've been dragging my feet, and I know I've been making excuses, but I'm done waiting for perfect. You're perfect. We're perfect. And I want to spend the rest of my life proving that to you. Will you marry me? She was crying. Happy crying. The kind where you smile and cry at the same time, and you can't really breathe properly, but you don't care. Yes, she said. Yes, yes, yes. I put the ring on her finger, and everyone in the restaurant started clapping. We didn't even care. We just sat there, holding hands across the table, grinning like idiots. Sunday came around, and we showed up at Auntie Cassandra's house for dinner. Devin was there too, along with a few other relatives. The house smelled like pot roast and cornbread and all the things that made it feel like home. Auntie Cassandra opened the door and immediately saw the ring on Simone's finger. Finally, she said, pulling us both into a hug. I was about to put another email blast to make you move faster. Please don't, I said. I'm kidding, baby, mostly. Come in, come in. Dinner's almost ready. We sat around the dining room table, passing plates and catching up. Devin told us he decided not to move to Houston after all. Instead, he was going back to school to get his business degree. Figured if I'm going to keep starting businesses, I should probably learn how to run them, he said. That's good, Devin, I said. Real good. And I'm sorry about what Mama said in that email about the sellout thing. It's cool, man. Nah, it's not. You're not a sellout. You're just living your life. I was being jealous because you got your stuff together and I didn't, but I'm working on it. Auntie Cassandra beamed at both of us. My boys. Look at my boys. Both of you figuring it out. After dinner, I helped Auntie Cassandra with the dishes, while everyone else watched the game in the living room. I'm sorry again about that email, she said, scrubbing a pot. I know I embarrassed you. You did, I admitted. But you also reminded me of something important. What's that? That the people who love you are going to embarrass you sometimes. They're going to say the wrong thing, or do the wrong thing, or send emails to your entire office. But they're also going to show up for you. They're going to make you lunch when you're having a bad day. They're going to give you advice even when you don't want to hear it. They're going to love you loud, like you said, and that's worth more than any promotion or any fancy job title. Auntie Cassandra stopped scrubbing and looked at me. Her eyes were wet. Your mama would be so proud of you, baby. Not because of your job or your education, because of your heart. You got a good heart. I learned from the best. She hugged me, getting soap bubbles on my shirt, but I didn't care. Now, she said, pulling back and wiping her eyes, when's the wedding? Because I already got my outfit planned. We just got engaged yesterday. And time's wasting. You're not getting any younger. I laughed. Same old Auntie Cassandra, already planning the next thing before the current thing had even started. But that was the thing about family. They pushed you, challenged you, embarrassed you, and loved you through all of it. They sent reply all emails that exposed your business and made pot roast when you needed comfort. They called you out when you were wrong and celebrated you when you were right. Monday morning, I walked into work with a new confidence. Mr. Henderson called me into his office first thing. Jamal, he said, I wanted to officially offer you the senior analyst position. You've more than earned it. Thank you, Mr. Henderson. And I wanted to apologize for doubting you last week. I let personal biases cloud my professional judgment. That won't happen again. I appreciate that. Also, just out of curiosity, how is your aunt? I smiled. She's good. Really good. Tell her I said hello back. I laughed. I will. I left his office and went to my desk, my new desk, in a better location with a better view. Kenny was already there, having moved my stuff over the weekend. Senior analyst, he said. Look at you. Couldn't have done it without your support, man. You definitely couldn't have done it without your aunt's viral email. Don't remind me. I'm serious though. That email, as embarrassing as it was, it actually helped. It made you fight harder. It made you prove yourself. Sometimes we need a little chaos to remember what we're capable of. He had a point. If Auntie Cassandra hadn't sent that email, Trevor might have coasted through the presentation on my work and I might have stayed quiet about it. Her mistake had forced me to step up. My phone buzzed. Group text from Auntie Cassandra to me, Devin, and Simone. Sunday dinner next week. I'm making fried chicken. Everybody better be there. No excuses. Especially you, Jamal. Love you, babies. Simone texted back, we'll be there. Can't wait. Devin texted, I'll bring dessert. I texted, wouldn't miss it for the world. And I meant it. Because at the end of the day, work was just work. Presentations came and went. Promotions were nice, but they weren't everything. What mattered was the people who showed up for you, who loved you even when you were at your worst, who embarrassed you because they cared too much rather than too little. Trevor walked by my desk and nodded curtly. I nodded back. There was no need for animosity. He'd learned his lesson, I'd learned mine, and we'd both move forward. That evening, Simone came over to my apartment. We ordered takeout and sat on the couch, planning the wedding. Small ceremony, she said. Just family and close friends. Sounds perfect. And we're having your aunt give a speech. Are you sure that's a good idea? I'm positive. She's the one who raised you, who loved you, who made you who you are. She deserves to speak. She's gonna say something embarrassing, probably. But it'll be funny, and it'll be real, and it'll be perfect. She was right. That was the thing about Auntie Cassandra. She was gonna be herself no matter what. And her being herself, as chaotic and embarrassing as it could be, was actually a blessing. Because it meant she was authentic. She didn't put on airs, didn't pretend to be someone she wasn't, didn't filter herself to fit into other people's expectations. In a weird way, her reply all email had taught me the most important lesson of my career. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Not the polished, corporate version of yourself that you think people want to see, but the real you. The you that has a loud, loving aunt. The you that makes mistakes. The you that works hard and cares about people and isn't afraid to speak up when something's not right. 6 months later, Simone and I got married in a small ceremony at the same church where Mama's funeral had been held. It felt right, having her spirit there with us. Auntie Cassandra cried through the whole ceremony, and when it came time for her to give her speech at the reception, she stood up with a microphone and a glass of champagne and said, I know y'all probably wondering if I'm gonna embarrass my nephew today. And the answer is yes, probably. But let me tell you something about Jamal. This boy right here, he's been through more than most people know. He lost his mama when he was just 12 years old, and he could have let that break him, but he didn't. He worked hard, went to school, got himself a good job, and became a man his mama would be proud of. And Simone, baby, you are the best thing that ever happened to him. I knew it the minute I met you. I told Jamal, I said, that's your wife right there. Don't mess it up. And he almost did, dragging his feet and waiting for the perfect moment. But thankfully, I sent an email that put everything in motion. Everyone laughed. I put my head in my hands, but I was smiling. What I'm trying to say is this, Auntie Cassandra continued. Love is messy. Family is messy. Life is messy. But that's what makes it beautiful. Don't wait for perfect, because perfect don't exist. Show up for the people you love, embarrass them sometimes, love them loud, and never apologize for being exactly who you are. Jamal, Simone, I love you both so much. Welcome to the family, baby girl. And Jamal, yeah, Auntie, don't take 6 months to give me some grandbabies. I'm not getting any younger. The whole room erupted in laughter. Simone squeezed my hand. Devin raised his glass. Kenny, who was my best man, shook his head and smiled. And I realized that this loud, chaotic, beautiful mess of a family was the greatest blessing I'd ever received. Auntie Cassandra's reply all email had been embarrassing, sure. But it had also been a reminder that I had people who loved me enough to embarrass themselves for me. People who would always show up, always speak up, always be there. That night, after the reception, Simone and I stood on the church steps watching our guests leave. Auntie Cassandra hugged us both one more time. I'm so proud of you, baby, she said to me. Thanks for everything, Auntie. For raising me, for loving me, for being you. Even when I send embarrassing emails, especially when you send embarrassing emails. She smiled and got in her car. Devin waved from the passenger seat. The rest of our family and friends drove off into the night. Ready to start our life together? Simone asked. More than ready. We drove to our new apartment, the one we'd been saving up for, the one that was ours. And as I carried my wife over the threshold, I thought about everything that had led to this moment. The embarrassing email, the almost failed presentation, the promotion, the proposal, the wedding. All of it connected, all of it necessary, all of it part of the messy, beautiful journey of life. My phone buzzed. Text from Auntie Cassandra. Did you lock the church doors? I think I left my purse inside. Text from Devin. She didn't leave her purse. She just wants to make sure you locked up. Text from Kenny. Congrats again, man. Try not to let your wife send any reply all emails. Text from Simone's mom. Welcome to the family, Jamal. We're glad to have you. I showed the text to Simone and we both laughed. This is our life now, she said. Group texts and family chaos and Sunday dinners. Sounds perfect to me. And it was. Because at the end of the day, that's what life is, showing up for the people you love, letting them show up for you, and embracing the chaos that comes with it. Auntie Cassandra's reply all email had taught me that lesson in the most embarrassing way possible. But I wouldn't change a thing. Well, maybe one thing. I would have asked Henderson to take me off that initial email list. But other than that, not a thing. The moral. Sometimes the most embarrassing moments in life lead to the most important lessons. We spend so much time trying to be perfect, trying to control how others see us, that we forget the value of authenticity. Family will embarrass you. They'll say the wrong thing at the wrong time. They'll expose your business when you least expect it, but they'll also love you unconditionally, support you fiercely, and remind you of who you are when you've forgotten. Don't wait for the perfect moment to live your life. Don't let fear of judgment hold you back from being yourself. Show up authentically, love loudly, and remember that the people who matter don't care about your perfectly curated image. They care about you. The real, flawed, beautiful you. And maybe, just maybe, double check who you're sending that email to before you hit reply all. Because trust me, your aunt will absolutely click that button without a second thought, and everyone will know your business by lunchtime. But even then, even in the chaos and embarrassment, there's love. And that's what makes it all worthwhile. Like this video if it touched something in you. Subscribe if you want to hear more stories about what it means to be human, to be family, and to choose love even when it's complicated. I'll see you next time.